Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Pay close attention next time President Trump holds one of his big campaign rallies.
Hello, Florida.
You'll notice certain signs and T-shirts that stand out. References to Q, the 17th letter of the alphabet, a cryptic salute to an elusive character.
YouTube, Q's plan to save the world.
It's not a conspiracy, it's fact.
QAnon, an anonymous internet user, supposedly with a high-level security clearance, posting online.
I am 100% behind Q. He's working for the president, he's working for our country.
Q's subversive message, crowdsourced and embellished by a growing group of followers, offering an alternative explanation of everything.
And it involves the whole Space Force, possible alien life, like pedophiles, and it seeks to tie all of that together.
Melissa Dietrich and her husband Dave Buffamoyer were at Trump's rally last week in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
I loved it. I've never been to a rally, so it was just exciting.
They're Q followers who have 20,000 followers themselves. We caught up with them today in Reading. Is QAnon a person?
Well, obviously, it's at least one person. Yeah. It could be more than one person. Some of the posts are signed Q+, which would seem to indicate that it's more than one person.
He doesn't tell you what to think. He leads you to information. You can read it and decide yourself what you think. That's the breadcrumbs. You follow them.
You call them breadcrumbs. And you bake the breadcrumbs?
Yes, and so they will take the breadcrumbs and actually make bread with them.
Some of this comes out, though, pretty half-baked. JFK Jr.? Really?
I don't know that, in terms of the JFK Jr. possibly being alive, again, I think different people interpret the breadcrumbs very differently.
Some QAnon believers seized on this post from Q back in April. POTUS and JFK Jr. relationship. Some Q followers ran with it, speculating that JFK Jr. faked his death in that plane crash off Martha's Vineyard nearly 20 years ago, and that he's now secretly helping Donald Trump behind the scenes.
How do we go from QAnon to JFK?
Bloggers like this guy from the Mile High podcast, crowdsourcing the tea leaves and trying to make the case that JFK Jr. is Q. Do you really buy that?
No, I don't know. And the thing is, I don't have to know. And, Q doesn't have to be right about everything. I'm not right about everything. I'm betting you're not right about everything. I know damn well the media is not right about everything.
The movement has already had an impact in the real world. There was this bizarre standoff in June. An armed man in an armored vehicle, believed to be a QAnon supporter, blocked a highway near the Hoover Dam. Melissa and David see that as an anomaly.
QAnon's not violent. It doesn't even. As a matter of fact, he says stay away from it. If things go down, just let it happen. It's all part of the plan.
QAnon started in the dark corners of cyberspace. This thought to be one of the origin posts by Q on the message board 4chan. It's from October of last year.
And they're very cryptic sort of messages that require a level of deciphering. We do some of that, but a lot of times we just rely on people that we call the anons.
From there, Q made the leap to more mainstream sites like Reddit and YouTube, and onto the Twitter feed of public figures like Roseanne Barr.
She tweeted, for example, last year, "Who is Q?" or "I want to meet Q," stuff like that.
This Roseanne Barr tweet from March of 2018, since deleted, tapped into one of QAnon's core beliefs that President Trump is breaking up child sex trafficking rings. What first attracted Melissa and David is that they share a deep distrust of politics as usual, bordering on disgust.
I think we've been let down by both parties. To me, I don't even see two parties. I see one establishment party. There's us and there's them.
She supported Obama back in 2008 and was a Bernie Sanders voter in 2016. It sounds to me like you are suspicious of everybody except for Q and Trump.
That's what you want it to sound like. That's not what it is.
They also share an equally deep distrust of the mainstream news media.
So what is Q?
They are a new fringe conspiracy theory group.
People who believe in the QAnon conspiracy theory.
Now that Q is actually starting to come out into the mainstream, what's the first thing you see in most news agencies do? They're trying to debunk it. because they don't want you to listen.
The president hasn't been asked directly, but QAnon followers believe Trump winks at them from time to time with a word or a turn of phrase borrowed from Q. One example, they say, came at the White House Easter egg roll. Q requested a particular phrase.
The term tip-top shape, if he could use the term tip-top shape.
We keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape.
So you saw that to be a nod that I'm with you?
They asked him to say it, and shortly thereafter he did.
The White Rabbit is big with Q followers. So is this scene from The Matrix.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, so the red pill, like to swallow a red pill, means to be kind of woken up to.
That's from The Matrix.
There are a lot of references. Q actually makes a lot of references to different movies.
They insist it's harmless stuff, but other crowdsourced conspiracy theories have had real consequences. Most famously, Pizzagate. In 2016, Edgar Welsh turned up at Comet Pizza in Washington, D.C. with an AR-15 and started shooting because he believed the false story that a pedophile ring connected with the Clintons was operating inside the restaurant.
What happened today demonstrates that promoting false and reckless conspiracy theories do come with consequences.
Freedom is back on the march.
This week, social media companies took aim at another internet conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones. YouTube and Facebook pulled his videos, accusing him of violating community standards. Jones famously claimed that the Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. He's being sued by the parents of some of the victims, some of whom say they've had to move 7 times because internet trolls were harassing them. Alex Jones has denied the allegations and is seeking to have the case dismissed.
Breaking news, a horrific scene in Charlottesville, Virginia.
And there's Brennan Gilmore, who's also suing Jones for whipping up an online fury against him. Gilmore is the guy who captured the video in Charlottesville 1 year ago this weekend of the moment Heather Heyer was killed, run over by a white supremacist.
I immediately shared it with police, and I thought it was important to share it with the world.
Soon after, things got out of hand.
People on the internet had started looking into my background and constructed this completely false narrative that I had somehow, organized the attack.
In his defense, Jones claims his diatribes about Gilmore were opinions, not statements of fact.
You think it's right that these social media companies pulled the plug on it?
I think, again, short of him advocating for violence against somebody, I think he should be free to speak as he chooses to speak.
It's certainly not going to deter them from what they see as their pursuit of the truth.
Does it worry you at all, the idea that a portion of the people watching this will be picturing you in a tinfoil hat?
Do you know how many of my friends have told me that?
I've seen enough evidence of the correlation between President Trump and Q always tells us to trust the plan, and I do trust the plan. I believe there is a plan.
For Nightline, I'm David Wright in Reading, Pennsylvania.